Hey everyone, we're back with another episode of the Arkham Asylum grapple gun build. Today is going to be all about jig building. I've spent a lot of time designing what I hope will be a jig that will allow me to make those slots that I talked about in the last episode. It may seem like overkill for something like this, but I really want to get it done right, and frankly, I don't have the right tools to get it done the way I would like to do it. So I'm kind of just working my way around the limitations of the tool set I have. You've seen me do that in other videos in the series, so this shouldn't really be anything new. When I'd started my design for the jig, I had a couple of requirements. First of all, I wanted to clamp the body in between two pieces of wood so that I could hold it steady. I also needed guide rails to control the way the piece moved through the jig. I didn't want it to wobble back and forth like that. It needed to go straight through. The other thing I needed to do was make a guide rail for my router, so it would always cut straight, perpendicular to the body. With that in mind, I went through a couple different iterations of my drawings, and as I sat down and kind of thought through how it's going to work in real life, I made a few changes along the way and ultimately came up with a design. It's actually really simple, but I think it'll work pretty well. My guess is that in the process of building it, I'll find some things I can do differently. But long story short, it's a square table with a hole in the middle, a guide rail on top, and two guides on the bottom. That's it. The first thing I'm going to do, because I like to keep track of, is mark off the true corners of this piece of MDF. The reason I do that is because as I'm cutting, I might cut something slightly off right, and that will make for a non-90-degree angle, and I might not want that. So with these marked, I'll know which ones are true 90 degrees. My goal right now is to cut an 8" by 8" square, which is going to serve as the base of my jig. I'm just going to do a quick reality check on my measurements here. I'm going to add an extra 2 inches this way, just so I know that the router base will always be on a flat surface. I wanted to give a big thanks to Big Adam 2050 from the YouTube channel, who made some suggestions about ways I could modify the design so that the piece will stagger its way toward the milling bit. I also want to thank RPF user Epileptic Squirrel for pointing me in the direction of some videos on router table usage. There were some techniques that I saw from some of the videos that are also contributing to the design and redesign of this project. So I have since redrawn my design for the jig again, and this time it incorporates a couple little changes that should make it more flexible and also more precise. So what we have here is the base and the top, or is it the base and top? Next thing we need to do is cut a slot in here that the actual mill bit will pass through. So what I need to do now is remove this piece right here. What I'm going to do is drill 4 holes in here, and then I'm going to use my scroll saw, my skill saw actually, to cut that out. I pulled out the chop saw for this next part. I actually don't like this chop saw. It's not very precise. It tends not to cut directly 90 degrees, and the blade also tends to be off 90 degrees. The good news is the only dimensions I need on this piece of wood are here and here. So I really don't care if here is wobbly this way or that way. And what I'm cutting right now are the supports for the base and the table. Oh yeah, and it also does that. But that's okay, I don't care. Supports. Just to give a general idea of where I'm going with this, those go there, this goes here. That's the basic idea.